Good Thursday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, we made it over the hump, and we're in the home stretch toward the weekend. Of course, you have your news headlines coming up on this Thursday. We have the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you've been part of my conversation with legendary singer Melba Moore. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with their Thursday headlines. In national news, Uvalde School Police Chief says he's still cooperating. The school district police chief, who served as on-site commander during last week's deadly shooting in Uvalde, Texas, said Wednesday that he's talking daily with investigators, contradicting claims from state law enforcement that he has stopped cooperating. In a brief interview, Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo told CNN that he's speaking regularly with Texas Department of Public Safety investigators. I've been on the phone with them every day, Arredondo said. The chief has been the focus of ire in the community and beyond over allegations that he delayed sending officers into the school on May 24th, believing that the gunman was barricaded inside adjoining classrooms and that the children were no longer at risk. 19 children and 2 teachers died in the attack at Robb Elementary School, the deadliest school shooting in nearly a decade. Funerals began this week, and U.S. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona attended Wednesday services for teacher Irma Garcia, who was killed in the attack, and her husband Joe Garcia, who died of a heart attack 2 days later. The district announced Wednesday that students and staff would not return to that campus, though plans were still being finalized on whether less than 600 students would attend classes in the fall. According to the U.S. Department of Education, its school emergency response to violence, known as Project Serve, funds short-term education-related services to help educational facilities recover from a violent or traumatic event in which the learning environment has been disrupted. State officials have said 19 police officers waited for more than an hour outside the classroom where the shooter, 18, opened fire, despite repeated pleas from children calling 911 for help. The Combined Law Enforcement Association of Texas, which represents police officers, has urged its members to cooperate with all government investigations into the shooting and police response and endorse a federal probe by the Justice Department. The confusing and sometimes contradictory information released in the weeks since the deadly shooting continued Tuesday with the revelation that the external door used by the gunman was not left propped open by a teacher, as police previously said. They have now determined that the teacher, who has not been identified, propped the door open with a rock, but then removed the rock and closed the door when she realized it was a shooter on campus. It was said to the Associated Press that the door that was designed to lock when shut did not lock. In more national news, U.S. sends rocket systems to Ukraine to stall Russian advance. The U.S. on Wednesday unveiled a new $700 million package of sophisticated weapons for Ukraine in an urgent effort to prevent Russia from seizing the final swaths of land in the Donbas region. But the most advanced rocket systems will take at least 3 weeks to reach the battlefront, raising questions of whether they will arrive in time to stop Russia's slow but steady gains. The Biden administration's decision to send 4 medium-range rocket systems came after weeks of debate over whether the precision-guided weapons would provoke a strong military reaction from Russian President Vladimir Putin. It suggests that the U.S. believes it is zeroed in on what weapons deliveries are worth the risk. We don't have an interest in the conflict in Ukraine widening to a broader conflict or evolving into World War III, so we've been mindful of that, the Defense Undersecretary for Policy said on Wednesday. But at the same time, Russia doesn't get a veto over what we send to the Ukrainians. In more national news, gridlock could delay COVID funds until fall or longer. The U.S. is headed for a lot of unnecessary loss of life, the Biden administration says, if Congress fails to provide billions more dollars to brace for the pandemic's next wave. Yet the quest for that money is in limbo, the latest victim of election gridlock that stalled or killed a host of Democratic priorities. President Joe Biden's appeal for funds for vaccines, testing, and treatments has hit opposition from Republicans who refuse to fight with the precarious politics of immigration. Congress is in recess, and the next steps are uncertain, despite admonitions from the White House COVID-19 coordinator of damaging consequences from every day we wait. In more national news, Depp awarded $10 million, heard $2 million in split libel lawsuit verdict. A jury awarded Johnny Depp more than $10 million on Wednesday in his libel lawsuit against ex-wife Amber Heard, vindicating his stance that Heard fabricated claims that she was abused by Depp before and during their brief marriage. The jury also found Heard was defamed by a lawyer for Depp, who accused her of creating a detailed hoax that included roughing up their apartment to look worse for police. And finally, in business news, stocks slide as strong economic data raises rate worries. The S&P 500 fell 31 points to 4,101. The Dow gave up 177 points to 32,813. And the Nasdaq Composite slid 87 points to 11,994. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's on time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, take it away.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Time to slow down. Rushing through your day never helps. In fact, it will add to your stress or anxiety. This frustrates you and may even cause you to create an unnecessary accident to wake you up. Slowing down allows you to fully focus your attention on what needs to be done. It allows you to breathe in all of your sensations and experiences. Working at a slower pace helps you to complete your work on time. Plus, you may have time to do something for yourself. Slowing down gives you the opportunity to flow with your natural rhythm throughout your busy day. Let go of the fast-forward pace our society lives, as this will help you to let go of stress and keep your body grounded. Today, take time to slow down and enjoy every moment of your life as you always enjoy the day.
We are part of my conversation coming up with the one and only Melba Moore in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us, you're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Legendary singer Melba Moore joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about her extraordinary career and new album. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Ms. Moore, thank you so much for the honor. Really appreciate the time.
Well, thank you for having me, Cyrus. Thank you so much.
So I have to say this. My mom's going to be very jealous that I get a chance to talk to you, as she typically is, when I'm able to talk to someone that she has loved over the years. But you have such an extraordinary fan base, Ms. Moore, and people who have followed your career have been reintroduced to your music. What has that been like for you to be able to do what you love and to have people enjoy it as much, too?
I am so grateful, first of all, for the longevity, for the faithfulness, for many things I just really can't put into words right now, because it's just so exciting, because it's not afforded to everybody, and it's a part of your life, you know. And with us going through such a pandemic and the massacres, and we're so blessed just to be alive. So to have that kind of, it's like cream on the top of a really good cake.
And you have been able to, you have been able to, Ms. Moore, to do something else that I think says so much, and that is to be able to connect with people. And we see it in the way that people talk about you. We see it in the way that people engage with you on Instagram. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But what has that been like for you to have these different generations that have such a respect for you as well as for your music?
I am amazed. But to me, it's what life should be about, but very often is not. And especially in electronics, you're connected, but you may not be. But right. I actually get a chance to see, because it is electronic, see people express themselves without having to be there. It's experiencing this new age where, I think we used to be like door-to-door salesmen, and now, you click a button and you can be in touch with people around the world.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. We're about to get on tomorrow to wrap up this week. And of course, remember, we'll be saying goodbye to the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich tomorrow. So definitely want to make sure you guys join us for tomorrow's broadcast. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make today amazing. Take care.